And we are back at it with part 2 of SojuTalk episode 94, where we get our weekly dose of hot takes, discuss recent K-pop news and events, and give you the state of the nation. Boom. Today we got hot takes with Hubert, so cousin Hubert's gonna come on and give the weekly hot take.
Whoa, adding new members to groups is a big oof. Also, my glasses broke. I need new glasses. Bye, guys.
Alright, bye. Alright, so cousin Hubert's hot take was adding new members to groups is a big oof. That's kind of spicy.
This has a lot to do with timing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's talk about timing.
Big.
What happened to Warren?
There he is. There's
Oh, we
Warren.
forgot to mention, Warren, your haircut's looking nice. You looking fresh.
Thank you. I have returned to being human again.
I agree with Anita that this has a ton to do with timing. I think that there is a window of time where it's like, obviously it's not ideal to add people to groups, right? Because you're admitting that we didn't have it correct the first round of like what we tried to do, right? That's essentially what you're doing. I do think though that if you do it early enough, it's generally acceptable, right? I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
I think the one example of it being acceptable was Cosmic Girl.
Okay, yes.
They did it after one song. I think at that level, kind of works. I'm not against it. But like after 3 comebacks, if they're gonna add a new member, See, you heard her scream. You heard her scream. She agreed with me. Shout out to Anita's sister.
Okay, so here's an example. So Nature added Sohee, right?
Yeah.
They added her after doing stuff for like a couple years, and they added her in and made her center. That's too much, in my opinion. I think that's too much. I think the most notable addition of recent memory is when Yeti got added to Red Velvet after the first song.
Right.
She ate a lot of yolk, or also known as cursing, for being added though, and she still does to an extent.
I see. That's why I feel like sometimes the inclusion of a new member to a group, to a established group, I should say, because I think after the first song, I think you have started to develop a fan base. You know, people are starting to know individual members. It almost seemed like people are way more critical of this move than if somebody leaves, because I think this is kind of stemming off that discussion that we had of, is it okay, or does the group fare better or worse when a member leaves? And I don't know why it is like that. I think it has some bit to do with the fact that it used to be the case where a rotational system was kind of a thing for some groups. The one that I can think of was After School, a girl group, and they had graduations and then adding new people. And I always feel like people get very, very attached to like the first image of the group they have.
Yeah.
So the first lineup is always going to be the one that they're compared to afterwards. And I don't know, I feel like it doesn't matter if it's a girl group or a boy group. The reaction to new members is always very, very critical, very harsh.
Right, because this is kind of a marketing thing, but people actively hate active change. You know,
that's true.
If
I
there's
don't
a
like
drastic
change. No.
Right? When there's a drastic change, people hate it. But at the same time, if it's same all the time, people always also hate that too. But like unconsciously, so like then they get disinterested, kind of deal. But
let me say one more thing.
Okay.
I think that it is way easier to add a member before people start leaving the group. Because I think that was what Anita was getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. If someone leaves and then you add someone, they're completely going to be compared to the person who left.
Right.
I think an example of this was when Kara added Hoyoungji towards the end.
Yep, I was thinking about that.
That was a big oof. Let's just be honest. That was an oof. Because people had such a distinct image of Kara from like the Step days or the Mr. days, that once you added someone else, it just felt like wrong. I don't know. Just something about it felt wrong. Now, I like Hoyoungji. I think she's great. I'd like to see her more on Variety these days, but just something about adding her to the group towards the end just felt like, well, we're just getting a replacement car member real quick. Like, it is what it is. After Nicole and Jiyoung left, they're like, let's add Youngji. And it's like, you know what I mean? But another thing to point out is we have to remember that Hara and Jiyoung were added in the middle of like the early run too. That group started off with someone named Seunghee back in the day.
Right. And same with EXID, right? They began with a completely different lineup.
The lineup was crazy, the evolution of that lineup.
And so I guess it always comes down to if you do it before you're popular, I guess it's all right. But this is where it kind of gets personal for me.
Okay. The reason we have this take is because of this argument that Warren and I have. Like, it's not even an argument. We just mention it once in a while.
Discussion.
It's a discussion because a lot of this type of talk about adding members has started since IOI was a thing back in the day with the Produce series, right?
Yeah. And that ruined everything.
Because you made these temporary groups, and then these kids have to go back to their companies, and a lot of these companies have promoting groups that are around these kids' age, right? So it's like, what do we do with them? That has been, like, people were wondering, is Somi gonna be added to Twice? That was a discussion back in the day, right? It was an honest discussion people were having. Yeonjung was added to Uju Sonyo, right? So what we're getting at here is we're going to have a discussion now as to whether Chaewon and Eunbi should be added to Rocket Punch. Warren?
No.
Okay, all right.
Why? Why don't you think?
The group, I like them as they already are. They have a good chemistry, They might have been good friends in the past. They might have been good colleagues, but now they have different groups that they are a part of. Rocket Punch, I believe that they will be able to succeed in establishing themselves independently. It's just adding new members to a... I don't know. Okay, you speak first. I'm getting too emotional.
I feel like the comparison that we're making, though, is a little bit different, though, because usually before Produce was a thing, right? The addition of members were people that you weren't aware of, right? They did not have a previous popularity in a different group that they were bringing on to this other group now.
Yes.
So I feel like it's a whole different discussion because Produce groups do well so far as we've seen. So it's the disparity in like the fandom and I guess people that are biased towards these specific people that then join a different group. It's very complicated.
Think about it this way. I have respect for all my Wiz1 fans. Yeah. Dog is a Wiz1. He is one of my closest friends.
We low-key hate
respect.
Just be straight up.
Respect for that fandom and whatever they do. But we run things differently here at Ketchy.
You're a muggle. You're a muggle, fam.
Oh.
I will have you know, I'm active in their galleries. Look. I'm sure that Chaewon fans and Eunbi stans are great people. But we already have a very well-established system. It's kind of concerning if they were to come in with different attitudes and different ways of doing things. It's very scary, Look at this man over here. Look at the way he disrespects people. I do not want that in my fandom. My fandom is composed of good people. And I do not need that in my fandom.
What?
Okay, let me explain why you're wrong now.
So you are for adding then, Doug?
This is my prediction. I think if I had to bet money on it, I think Eunbi's gonna go solo. That's just because of how much older she would be than some of the Rocket Punch people. Yeah. The age was the factor there. Plus, I think she could do it. I think the real debate comes down to Chaewon, to be honest. I think she's the... You've proposed the problem that you don't want her in the group, right? Yes. But you haven't given me the solution as what they would do with them.
Well, it's not my problem to solve.
The big thing that I think why you add Chaewon is, do you not like money? If you add her to the group, your album sales would instantly triple.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did adding Yeonjung to Cosmic Girls triple their sales?
They okay. Number one, Yeonjung was number 9 in IOI, I believe. I think there was 9. I'm so furious. I can't even remember how many members IOI had.
What rank was Chaewon?
Who cares? She's Chaewon. Have you seen her in Fiesta? She's one of the most popular members right now in that group.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Samachi, yeah.
Honestly, my whole thing is from an economic standpoint, right? If you add her, you make money, right? If you don't add her and you make a new group, you're getting resources taken away from Rocket Punch.
No. I think it's short-term investment that is stupid in the long run. That's what it is.
But what would you... No, my question is, what would you do with her if you don't add her to Rocket Punch?
Make her a duo with Eunbi. I don't know.
Bro, that is a terrible answer.
I mean, dude, you're the Chaewon fan. You figure out the solution for Chaewon.
The solution if I'm Woolen is to add her because we would get more eyes on the product that is Rocket Punch and we would increase our album sales and make them more profitable.
No. The problem is if you add Chaewon to Rocket Punch, the eyes aren't gonna be on Rocket Punch. The eyes are gonna be on Chaewon and Chaewon only. I don't like that. I'm sorry. That's not that's not good for the entire group.
But you're saying you would take the hit economically and not do that?
No. I'm saying that it's a much better of a long-term economical investment to not go for the short-term goal. Okay.
I need to play middle here. What do you think?
Well, no. First, I wanted to ask some questions because.
Okay.
I forget, but IZ*ONE's contract
ends, I believe, in the spring of next year.
Spring of next year. Okay.
Yes.
Because I was thinking, Rocket Punch is how old now by this point?
By the
year?
time she could join, I would assume she would join for either the 4th or the 5th comeback, right? On
Something
paper.
like that, yeah.
Something like that.
See? 4th
The thing
and
is,
5th?
to be honest, I feel like I understand Doug's logic because it does feel like, oh, you're bringing this person who's already has like an individual fandom that is pretty strong, and they're gonna come in and they're gonna bring this fandom towards this bigger group. I do feel like it gets more complicated though because of the timing. Like we mentioned, the timing is big for this addition of groups. So the 5th comeback, that feels. It feels like
what would we do with her if like?
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way. I don't have the utmost confidence in Woolim as a company.
That's okay.
I think that's pretty fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just cool, right?
I don't think that I might be wrong. This is another one of those things in the future. In like a year, you could make fun of us, right? I don't see them doing a duo, though. I just don't see that.
Is it possible that there could be?
I don't think there's no way they could do another group, right? I don't think.
Oh, the timing is too short.
Woolim doesn't have the resources for that. Realistically speaking, because I see them being active together on Twitter, I see them being friendly. Wonbi and Yoni has an active meme going on, with Trevor Queen and whatnot. And Kuksam Queen and Trevor Queen. But look, realistically speaking, because they continually show us that they are friendly towards each other, I'm willing to bet money that they would add her in, both of them.
Both of them.
I'm willing to bet money that's what's gonna happen. I don't like it. I'll give you that. But if it happens, I will fully support Woolim in their next venture. I will make sure that it all works out.
It will be interesting.
If they add both, right? What is the age difference between the Magne and Eunbi? Do you know what that is?
9 years, I think.
So Dahyun is 2005, right?
Right.
And Eunbi is.
Isn't she like?
She's 90. There's a 10-year age.
10. Oh my.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it could all work.
I honestly, my prediction is they're gonna make Eunbi go solo, and they're gonna add Chaewon to the group. That's my prediction.
They keep shouting each other out on Twitter and whatnot. People in Korea are kind of like, people outside the Rocket Punch fandom are kind of assuming it's gonna happen. And we'll just have to see what happens.
Can we do one more of these discussions? Yena into Everglow. That's another thing people.
Oh man.
Okay, I have a completely different opinion for that. Actually, no, I have the complete same opinion for that.
You don't think you had her?
No, she doesn't fit the image at all. Look at.
I think she can.
No, what?
Bro, you could have a girl crush duck in your group, fam.
It's just,
come on.
to be honest,
Duck
this
crush.
whole generation that's gonna happen though, because they have released the companies from these members. They released groups right at the same time that they were promoting. It's gonna be such an interesting thing to see what they do. One, what they do, and two, if it works, like, and who it works for. Because
The thing about Yena is she has no like age issue adding her to this group. to
That's
everyone.
true. They're the same
She's
approach.
literally about like she's like middle age of that group.
dang.
I've heard this other rumor that Yehua might be making another group. I've heard rumors of this.
That could happen.
It might be a
too.
Chinese group, and Yena speaks. I don't know how good her Chinese, but she speaks some Chinese from being in Yehua.
Maybe Wiz can tell me. Isn't she kind of popular in China? Yena?
There's a growing feeling. I heard a complete rumor that they're gonna take Uju Sonyo China line, plus a couple of the girls who are on Youth with You. Plus, I don't know about Yena, but I heard they might make a group out of those kids. What if they had to get it to that, just ship her to China? Like, that would be bananas.
Wow.
That'd be interesting.
But who knows? Because Yehua's obviously has a bigger presence in China. Like, they're the Chinese SM on paper. So we'll have to see what they're going to do. I'm very curious. And let us know what you think specifically about the Eunbi Chaewon and Rocket Punch thing. Let us know what you think about
You
that.
can disagree with me all you want. But, I mean, I like what we have right now, and I don't like change. I'm sorry.
We were gonna take a
I
pause
wanna
here
hit
now
the
that we're done with this topic, but let's just do it live. So, news and events from last week. I have a disclaimer first. So the first news topic, which many of you probably know about, comes with a disclaimer and a trigger warning as it describes issues such as bullying, self-harm, depression, and suicide. All of the information that will be stated comes from translations of the relevant post and what is available at the time of this recording. There may be small errors that are lost in translations, but we should be able to give you the general gist. If you or anyone you know is struggling with these issues, don't hesitate to take action or use the valuable resources available down on the YouTube comment section down below. So we're going to put some things down there for you guys. But this is the AOA Bulling Controversy that blew up the entire week. So on July 3rd, former AOA member Mina revealed the reason why she withdrew from AOA last year. The start of the controversy occurred in response to a malicious DM Mina received from an anonymous individual who told her to get lost. Beep! There's an expletive there. Mina then took to Instagram to reveal that she was bullied by fellow member Jimin for over 10 years. One notable incident she recalled occurred shortly after her father passed away, when she cried and was dragged to a closet by Jimin as she was, quote, ruining the mood. Over time, Mina stated that she began to self-medicate, self-harm, and contemplate taking her life due to the continued stress and bullying. Mina also stated that when Jimin's father passed away, she expressed regret for her past actions, but found it difficult to forgive her. Overall, Mina decided to leave the group as she could not endure the bullying any longer. Following these claims, Jimin posted the word "sosol" or fiction to her Instagram story before deleting it shortly after. That was the start of a lot. Mina then responded by posting a graphic image of her self-harming scars and made numerous posts detailing the past. Included were her struggles with medication, physical health, and mental health, while asking for an apology from Jimin with acknowledgement of the past to, quote, untangle her tangled heart. She additionally mentioned how this issue was known by everyone in the group as well as in FNC. Shortly after, Mina's news agency Woori Actors shared that they are currently looking into the situation and will continue to support and monitor her well-being. So that was the initial wave of what happened. It blew up, it was crazy, and then about 18 hours later, it was stated that the AOA members visited Mina last night and she had received multiple apologies from Jimin. She stated that Jimin was initially angry when she came over and did not remember many of her past actions. Mina also claimed that Jimin asked if taking her life would be enough for her. Mina noted that while she feels Jimin's apology may not be sincere, she decided to accept it. Mina believes that it will take longer than a day for her to recover from the pain she has been through over the past 10 to 11 years, and that she'll continue to receive treatment and work on recovering. We all thought that at this point, it was done, right? We thought that there was an apology, people admitted to what happened, we were good. But this was like the start of another saga. So on the following day, on July 4th, Jimin posted an apology to Mina on Instagram stating that she was lacking as a leader and regretted everything that had happened. She also referenced the past night where she stated that she, quote, cried and begged and cried for forgiveness. Mina did not like this response and stated that Jimin was lying and wondered if this was the same Jimin who had brought a man back to their dorm back in the past. Mina also stated that she knows Jimin still hates her and didn't want to apologize until the end. Her post ended by stating that all of the eyes and ears that had visited her the past night were the same as Jimin's and that she had, quote, lost while Jimin had, quote, won. Later in the day, FNC announced that Jimin would be leaving AOA and would be taking a hiatus from all of her activities in the entertainment industry. FNC also accepted full responsibility for the entire situation in their statement. Okay.
Okay.
This was a lot. I don't really know where we even begin to talk about this, right? Like, objectively, right?
Yeah.
There's probably way more going on that we don't understand, right? It's not like you could recount, as they both kind of agree, that something happened over the past 10 years, right? I don't think in like 7 Instagram posts, however long they may be, you can recount what you're actually feeling and cumulatively over the 10 years, right? What we do know is that something happened, clearly, because Jimin even apologized for these actions, right? Stuff happened. She apologized. At a certain point, the apology wasn't felt as being sincere, right? So Mina exposed more things. And then it was enough where FNC/Jimin decided that she is to leave the group, right? That is objectively what happened.
Yeah.
There's just so much to unpack, though, right?
Okay, so I started following this entire event relatively early because I'm following Mina on Instagram, and I saw black posts come up with these long text posts, and they're quite something. They are very triggering. I'm not gonna lie. They are very explicit with She did at one point, like you mentioned, she did at one point take a photo of her. Well, she uploaded the photo of her wrists. Lots of scars. Not good at all. And you know, it's
that okay. I could see why she did that, but personally, like, I know someone said like not safe for work. Don't click and look at this picture, right? But morbid curiosity, I clicked it. I was like, holy crap. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
And I don't know. I don't usually get actually angry at like people in the K-pop industry, because I'm always like, there's two sides of the story, you know, like, whatever. That's actually kind of pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. And then when Jimin posted the apology, I think a lot of people, I first of all, I didn't think it really felt insincere. A lot of people thought it was insincere. I think the general public's, K-netizens' opinions were that it was insincere. And then, you know, Mina did her last IG post, which got deleted, and yeah, you know, it's a very complicated situation. People have been digging stuff out of Choa's old Instagram posts, Jimin's old Instagram posts. Yugyung, I don't know if you guys know what that is. She was the drummer back when they were a band.
She had some posts today too.
She had some posts as well. It's, you know, clearly there was some not good stuff going on in the back, and it really. What's crazy shocking is that it's happened for 10 years. And maybe longer, because they were trainees before that. I don't know. Who knows? You know, like, how do you sleep at night? You know, that kind of deal. It's like, you do this to a person for 10 years. My goodness. Look at the girl's wrists. Like, you train with her. You dance practice with her. Like, clearly it's not difficult to see. Like Jesus Christ.
We don't know everything that's going on in Mina's head, obviously, right? There's a lot of things going on, clearly. But at the end of the day, she felt necessary to expose many things, right? I'm sure there's more things she could have exposed, but she exposed a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point for me, it felt like she was like, you know how sometimes you have these pent up feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're like, screw the consequences, I'm just gonna let it out, right? It felt like that to me a little bit, to be honest, right? She let out all the skeletons. She just dumped if she was cooking a cauldron of soup, she just spilt it on the table. It's like, here it is. This is what has been going on, right? I don't know. I'm not going to say if it was the correct thing or wrong thing to do, right? But it is what it is, right? It's an incredibly tough situation to watch. I feel very bad for Mina, clearly, right? I don't know. I am still like shocked by everything that has been revealed, and you could look up all the news articles about it. There's like so much, like the amount of words that were written are extensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am just like barely touching the surface at what was said. There's so much stuff that's out there. Overall, though, a terrible situation. Obviously there's implications for everyone in AOA, right? They're done essentially, I would say. You know, Sohyun has a couple tattoo with Jimin. Like that don't look good.
That didn't age well. That's why you don't get tattooed, man.
Anita, what were your general feelings about this whole thing?
I mean, I think as the news started to develop, right? Because I feel like it's still developing even at this point.
Yeah,
like
for
more,
sure.
I'm sure more things are gonna come out. More people might be involved as well that might have their side of the story or their amount of information. And I think when it began, right, when the posts and the pictures, I did feel like, I don't know, like this sense of sadness, of course, but also like a sense of fear because it feels like
She was
Right.
implying. I'm gonna be straight up here. She was implying that she might not be along very longer in some of her posts.
yeah, and that's
That was
that's
the tough
honestly,
part.
I think that's what got to me as well. I haven't seen the pictures that she posted of her self-harm.
You don't want to.
Right,
Let's just be
and
straight up.
I feel like if you know yourself, please like take care of yourself when dealing with this kind of situation as well, because it is pretty heartbreaking, honestly, and heartbreaking also in the sense that it kind of made me really question, like, wow, this kind of stuff is going on in a group that has been together for a long time, and of
And have
course,
been successful. That's the thing. It's crazy
yeah.
to me.
Yeah, I mean, I was never like a super huge fan of AOA. I did not stand them, as people would say. So I didn't know a lot of them as individuals. I knew them more as a group. But from what I knew from an outsider, I guess, I thought things were pretty okay. People left, but they never really expressed what was going on. And when we saw the first time that I really saw them in Variety was in Queendom, right? And when I saw them there, I thought they were very, very close. And I don't know, just to hear that everything like this was going on, and of course, like you mentioned, there's a lot of differing stories. People are saying different things, and it's confusing. But something happened, and people's feelings got hurt. Their health is not well because of this, and it's really upsetting. I feel very disappointed in the company as well, because they must know. They have to know. They work with these people.
They have
day
to know
and
to an
night.
extent, for sure.
Yeah, something must have been mentioned. They must have seen something, and to know that nothing was done, it makes me really sad. And like I mentioned, like that fear of, oh, if this was after the case, right? Like if this was after something bad happened, it would be even 10 times worse. So as you also mentioned, like I don't know if this was like the best method, if social media was the way to go, but I rather hear and have people deal with this, hopefully, and say what they have to say to each other, and kind of come to a resolution now than to have a tragedy happen and
I agree with that.
people's feelings remain like bent up, and they feel like they weren't listened to. I would hate to have that news line, to be honest.
Yeah.
So even though it's uncomfortable, I hope this has as best a solution as it can be at this point. I don't know what that is, but I hope they can continue on with their respective careers at some point and find some peace. Yeah.
I don't know how long we want to have this conversation for, but I don't know if you read all the Instagram posts, Anita, but I
No.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
after reading all them, I have nothing positive to say towards FNC or Jimin. I'm just gonna keep it there because I know this is a podcast for everybody. I don't want to be angry for an hour long, but I mean,
okay, so I'm not going to cast judgment on either side of the argument. I will cast judgment on their company though, because they would obviously know what is going on, which is ridiculous.
If you look at the posts, there are like multiple situations where Mina's like, I went and talked with the FNC staff, and like they were like acting like I was talking stupid crap, and like it's like, I mean, this girl is drugged up to the point where she can barely remember what's going on. Like, do your job. That's a management company.
Because at the end of the day, more than just being responsible for their career, you're responsible for them as people, because they live in your dorms, they work for you, they're making you money, so they're responsible. At the end of the day though, my opinion on the whole situation and in bullying in general is that you are someone's child.
Yes,
everyone else is someone else's child.
Yes.
We got to treat each other better, everyone. So I think that's where we'll leave it for today, right? I think that's a good point. All right, let's move on to the next news topic. This is also kind of bad. So Day 6's J expresses frustration at JYP Studio J. So on June 29th, J commented on a Twitter retweet from the official Day 6 Twitter account promoting content involving a fellow Day 6 member, stating, "Why don't you repost my Dive Studio stuff?" The following day, on June 30th, J elaborated, stating, "Even if we're just talking about recent activities, I have my podcast Fighting or Whiting on Facebook and my collaboration with 88 Rising. But why do you never post about the activities that I do?" He continued, "For YouTube, I was barely able to get permission to open a channel after begging for one. And even when I was allowed, I felt like I was walking on eggshells. I did everything by myself, but ended up having to close the J6 account channel because I was told people at the company think I'm ruining the agency's image. But why can't other members happily create content with the manager's help and with the company providing funds and support?" JYP Entertainment has since apologized for the misunderstanding with Jay and have stated that the issue has been resolved. Jay also posted on Twitter apologizing for causing fans to worry with his posts and mentioned that the overall issue had nothing to do with the other Day 6 members. It is important to note that the official Day 6 Twitter account has begun promoting Jay's podcast in the time since this incident took place. It's just bad that it gets to that point, right? That's the overall thing I feel.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Idols are people. They think before they act. They think. They have brains. If they lash out on social media like that, they know the consequences. They know that they're breaking company rules. They're doing it for a reason, and for it to get to that level, man,
like clearly he had been frustrated for a while, right? Yeah. This isn't like I'm just like, why aren't they posting it? Let me figure it out. He's clearly had issues with the company for a while, right?
Clearly.
It also, there's undertones to me that the company doesn't profit that much off of his activities, so therefore they don't care, which I think is the wrong way to go about it.
I mean, like, he's got one of the most popular K-pop podcasts on the planet. Like, sometimes it's kind of scary because he's technically in our category, and like his numbers are gigantic, like.
Yeah.
JYP, you could monetize so much off of that. What are you doing? Jeez.
And because Jay speaks English, he's one of the main connections that fans have to K-pop, right? Because they can listen to a K-pop idol, speak English, answer their questions, talk about things in their own language. He's such a big asset, right? And to not be capitalizing off of that kind of popularity he has is a bit of a shame.
Big, small brain move.
The fact that it had to end up like this is like ridiculous to me, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least they figured it out, and they're going forward with this. But
It just feels like a poo situation, right?
yeah, I mean, come on, come on, you have so much money. Invest some of it into some of these ventures. I'm sure it'll be worth.
I honestly think at a certain point, it's worth, even if it's not the most profitable thing, which I'm assuming his stuff is kind of profitable, but even if it's not, it's worth getting even to just make your artist and the people under your company happy, I think, at a certain point.
It promotes a good brand image,
Yeah.
That's what you got to think about, because big companies at a certain point, they invest in a lot of things, lots of different ventures, not because it's profitable, but because they know it leads to better resources, better brand image. That's what Google does, Samsung, Apple. You know what? That's what they do. And I'm not saying JYP is as big as Apple. They don't have a gigantic building in Cupertino, but like, they got some cash. They got some wop. Use it, boy. Don't sit on it.
All right.
all right, Warren.
Sorry, I'm so angry.
Let's go to some. I got happy news too. So we got some happy news.
Hey!
Big achievement by big players. So there's 4 of them. The first one, on July 1st, Blackpink achieved the 4th perfect all kill of 2020 and the first by an idol group in 2020 by topping the real-time charts of Melon, Genie, Bug, Sorry About a Flow, and iChart, in addition to Vibe's daily chart and iChart's weekly chart. The other 3 songs to achieve perfect all kills in 2020 include Zico's Any Song, IU's Give You My Heart, which is an OST song, and IU's 8 featuring Chungha. Number 2, EXO's Baekhyun has become the 4th million seller. Wait, no. It's even bigger than that. He's the first million seller solo artist in 19 years.
Wow.
With The Light.
Wow.
And the 4th of 2020 alongside BTS, NCT 127, and 17. The last person to achieve this was in 2001, and it was Kim Gunmo's 7th album.
Whoa.
Wow, man. To see Kim Gunmo then Baekhyun, that's kind of crazy, not gonna lie.
Yeah, so Baekhyun's having a great year. Next, Twice confirmed to have set new record for the most sold K-pop girl group album on Gaon with More and More. So this is Gaon.
man.
You know how IZ*ONE holds the Hanteo one. According to Gaon chart, as of July 2nd, Twice's 9th mini album More and More has surpassed a total of 563,000 copies sold. So you're probably wondering, we talk about Hanteo sometimes, we talk about Gaon sometimes, right? Wait, no. How am I supposed to say it, Warren?
Hanto.
Hanto. I've been saying it wrong. So Hanto chart is a record of individual album sales from approved stores and websites. So this is like specific numbers. I go to the store, I buy one album, it counts on the Hanto chart. Gaon chart are shipment sales. So how many like albums that the store will stock on their shelves. And it also includes reorders, individual sales from websites, but it's pretty much what gets shipped to the stores, right? So because Gaon includes store sales as well as individual, Gaon numbers will always be higher than the Hanto charts.
I always want to point this out, right? Because people look at this and they go, "Well, count chart that's not important." Because no, I want to say count chart is actually a very good indicator of how popular they are with the general public. Hanto chart is generally a good measurement of their fandom power.
Oh.
Yeah. So the thing is, when you buy albums, now you got to keep this in mind. When you buy albums, you have to look for that Hanto logo, or like I'm certified by a Hanto thing. Otherwise, you're not going to be counted for the Hanto counting. So
Right.
next time you buy albums, look out for that, especially if you're a fan.
I also think Gaon chart is a good measure of, it's like a perceived value, because it's how many albums our stores think you're going to sell, right? And at the end of the day, they do profit some once the individuals are sold, but they make primarily their money from shipping it out to these big stores, right?
Right.
Because it's like, if I'm the company and we ship out 1 million copies to stores, it's like, I mean, I do care if they're individually sold, but I already made from the 1 million that I put out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, because if we think about stores, they're technically resellers, right? Because they're the middleman. They're buying from the big company and then they're reselling it to individuals, right? But the company probably cares more about how many we have to print, I think. All right, last one. BTS became the first artist to achieve 20 number ones on Billboard's World Digital Song Sales, and Black Swan has now reached number 1 in more countries, 103, than any other song in the history of iTunes, passing Adele's Hello.
Wow.
I can't name like 50 countries, and they went number 1 in 103.
Surpassing Adele's Hello.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Right? Crazy.
Man.
All right, time for some quick takes. On July 3rd, Monsta X's Shonu underwent urgent surgery on his left eye due to retinal detachment.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, what?
Starship has stated that he will focus on recovery and rest for the time being. I don't know how that happens.
Oh no.
On June 30th, Nate News released a formal statement announcing the removal of public comments from all entertainment news articles. With this change, Naver, Daum, and Nate have now all removed comments from their entertainment-related articles.
I like that.
Instas announced that Soribada will be excluded from their iChart ranking due to a dwindling user base. Soribada can be re-included in future if their user base increases to an acceptable level again. Yeah, right, that's gonna happen.
Big oof.
Additionally, on July 6th, Melon implemented its new 24-hour average chart, replacing their real-time chart. I think that's for the best.
It's here now.
Gugu Dan might be Gugu Dan. So Gugu Dan Sally placed 6th with 93 million votes during the finale of Produce Camp 2020 in China, and will debut with the 7-member girl group Bon Bon Girls 303.
That's a weird name. Bon Bon Girls.
Interesting name,
303.
yeah.
But congratulations to Sally, but who knows what that means for Gugu Dan, right?
We'll see.
Yesterday, on July 5th, former Wonder Girls member Lim officially married longtime boyfriend and martial arts athlete Shin Min Chul in a private ceremony. We're saying his name out loud because the two of them have been on variety shows together, so he is a public figure. He's not just a behind-the-scenes type of person.
Congrats.
Lastly, the Seoul Central District Court has sentenced Guharda's ex-boyfriend Choi to 1 year in prison for violating the law of sexual violence crimes during an appeals trial. Previously, he was sentenced to 3 years probation and 18 months prison if violated. So basically, he appealed and now he's going to jail.
Feels too short, but whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. So we're now at comebacks and releases. Warren, hit us with them.
Comebacks and releases. On July 7th, Tuesday, we got G Idol coming back. July 8th on Wednesday, we have Great Guys and Yukika. July 9th on Thursday, we have Seulgi, formerly of EXID, with a solo debut. July 13th on Monday, we have G-Friend, as well as EXO SC. On other confirmed comeback news, we have Crush on July 14th. Kang Daniel featuring Simon D on July 25th. Highlights, Yoon Do-jun with a solo debut on July 27th. 8Ts on July 29th. Soyu in late July. Lehigh, rumored to be managed by AOMG. In late July, Kang Daniel with another one on August 3rd. Kai with a solo debut sometime in the near future. And Saturday with another comeback in the future.
Crazy, right?
Crazy.
Kai, what?
All right. State of the Nation.
State of the
Anita,
Nation.
Island.
I cried. That's what it is. No, I didn't cry, but it makes me stressed and concerned.
I have big issues with this show. Like,
Yes.
obviously spoilers are gonna happen real quick. Let's
Yes,
go.
please.
3, 2, 1, spoiler alert!
Basically what they did is we got they basically voted. The initial first thing was they voted kids out of Island and into Ground because they had too many kids, right?
Yes.
So they had a vote. Was it 4 or 6 kids?
4.
4 kids had to go down. There was Japanese on Japanese crime during this voting. Specifically, there's a kid named Nikki and there's a kid named Taki. Nikki's older. Taki's this cute little kid, right? At a certain point, Nikki betrays Taki, votes him out, and then tells him, "I think it's better for you to be in Ground right now." It's right. It straight up happened like that, right?
I mean, I'm not sure if the wording was exactly like that, but he did in the episode they did show a clip where apparently Nikki was talking to Taki and basically explained that it might be better for him to grow more in the ground or like to have more growth. Period.
Come on, yeah.
I don't know the wording, but that was the sentiment. Yes.
Here's the weird thing. For some, I don't know if like that was him telling him he voted for him, but Taki knew at the end of the episode. You remember? Because
Yes,
the other kids in ground were like, bro, he voted for you and you still like him? Like,
Yeah.
they straight up were saying that to him. And that leads me to the big issue I have with the show. They've set up the show for the kids to have to vote each other up and down the entire time. Like, at least vote downwards the entire time. That is setting up for, like, them to pretty much do, like, Lord of the Flies Battle Royale.
Lord of the Flies.
No, seriously. Right,
I
Anita?
feel so bad for them.
It is honestly, in my opinion, beneficial for you to get a crew together and keep voting other people down. It's beneficial on paper.
Didn't you mention before we started recording that that's kind of what's already happening?
It's sort of happening. So here's the thing. They have to do these performances, right?
Uh-huh.
And every kid gets voted on a scale from 0 to 100, right?
Oh man, that's scary.
And then they have this rubric where they have average scores, right?
Uh-huh.
If the average score of the 12 kids in Island it's like if they score on average between a 96 to 100, 0 kids get dropped into ground, right? 95 to 91, 1 kid, and so on. If you go 70 or below, 6 kids have to go down.
Yeah.
Here's the big spoiler of the week. They did the first performance. The average score was a 59.
Honestly, I thought the scoring was pretty harsh.
I thought it was
did not
harsh.
expect it to be so
Are you
low.
kidding? That's so low.
The highest kid got a 75.
Yo!
Barely passing.
Look at these kids.
They got destroyed. So 6 of the kids got to go down next week. So they got, and it's not the 6 lowest scoring kids. They have to vote
Again.
They're going to vote for the 6 kids who are going down.
What is with this? Oh man, this is.
And then the mentors behind the scenes get to pick 6 kids from ground to go up. So they don't vote them up. They
Right.
only vote them downwards. My problem is, these kids, I think there was not that much politics in the initial voting to get the 4 kids down, right? So you probably on average had some of the better kids in Island right now, right? We are actively now sending 6 kids who are probably decent down the ground. You know what I'm saying, right? We're sending good kids down.
It's just straight up politics. That's what it is.
It's straight up politics right now. and then the Nikki kid, additionally, he wanted center so bad, right? And then he didn't volunteer for when they asked who wanted to be center, right?
Wait, why didn't he not volunteer if he wanted to be center?
Because no one did, because they tried to be like nice manners or something. I don't know. It was
No.
stupid.
Yes, this is a whole show
Honestly-
about politics. What you doing?
I think there was a whole situation though in the show, and again, spoiler alerts if you haven't seen it, because this was a big part of the episode, where there was some sort of miscommunication.
There was a mutiny.
Disagreement,
There was a mutiny.
right, between the original center, right? The original center who
Okay,
got suggested as being center by others, right? So he didn't choose it. Others suggested him to be center, and he accepted. And then during the episode, a group of people it started with one person, and then they talked to other people, and then eventually several of them approached this person who was center and said, "We don't feel like we're doing this right. I don't think the way that you're leading us is the best."
The guy who was center, I think his name is Sunghoon or something like that, right? I believe that was his name. Heesung.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Heesung Hyung. That's what they kept calling him, right? He's
Yep.
one of the older kids on the show, I think.
He has the most experience as far as training, I think.
So-
yeah.
Basically, they put this kid center, right? It is what it is. And they also elected him to teach the choreo, right? And he was changing up the choreo a little bit because he's like, yo, it looks a little better if we do it like this.
Oh, adding his
A
personal
lot of the
touch.
kids were like, yo, behind the scenes, not in front of him. They couldn't tell him to his face. They were like, I don't like how he's teaching. We should just follow what the teachers taught us, like in the video. They had like an intervention, and they're like, bro, we don't like you as center, essentially. We don't like how you're teaching.
Yeah.
And then he was like, y'all don't like how I'm teaching. I didn't want to be center anyway. You guys voted me center. That's literally what he said.
What is this show?
To be honest, I feel like for me, I felt a little bit of confusion at this point in the conflict, because I got that they had voted him at center, right? But I didn't understand where along the way he also assumed the role of leader, because I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of what he was doing. He was both center and leader, and I don't
Yeah.
think they formally chose the leader. I don't know if they just followed him because he was center and he kind of had more experience. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like the general feeling when this person was introduced, Hee-sung, was that, oh, he's very good all-rounder, right? People knew of him already before the show started, and I mean, by people I mean the other contestants, and I don't know, I feel like they relied on him a bit, and that's why they suggested him to take center. So that made sense. I just felt like when the conflict started, it almost felt like it was more of a leadership question, right? As far as like the choreography and the changes that he was making. And then he came up with a suggestion, okay, well, I didn't really suggest to be center in the beginning, so if you don't want me as center, then I won't be it. But I feel like that was not the problem. The problem was
his teaching style,
the leadership, right? And which I felt had to have been addressed way beforehand. Maybe they didn't show it in the episode.
Bro, he did this move this one way, and not one kid said, "Bro, why don't we just do it like the teacher said?" Like, not one kid said this. And they all like schemed behind his back until they told him later.
Man,
and then they made this kid, the Nikki kid in the beginning that I already don't like a lot. They made him center, right? He's an incredibly good dancer. Problem is, the kid who got center has to sing the highest parts.
Oh man.
And he like pooed the bed during the performance. I thought. I didn't think it was that good. It was bad. I don't know. Like, I was like, bro. And then there was another kid who, the way they did it, if you got parts like 1 through 7 or 1 through 8 out of 12, you got to get 2 lines or 2 center portions, right? Everyone else got like 1 time. So if you're like 8 or 9, 10, 11, 12, you only got to do your thing in the front ones. One kid auditioned for all of the double parts. I got none of them.
Honestly,
and he started crying. He started crying.
I'll cry too.
His name is Jay, I believe.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'll use this part in the episode to just reference what I feel is my concern for the whole series. I feel like the way things are being edited and the way that they're kind of placed against each other, really. Once you're in the top 12, it's really just trying to keep your spot.
Yeah.
Make alliances if you want to, I guess, if that's your strategy, or vote people that you feel are not good for the group. But I don't know. It just gets, to me, it felt like it's getting to be very, very much
political.
Politics between each other, and I'm concerned as to how people, as the audience, who's eventually going to be their fan base, I assume, how they're going to view these as individuals, because they might get a reputation of like, oh, this person had this thing going on against this other person in the show, and I just find
what's the biggest
concerning.
BS, Anita? You know what's the thing that I was thinking? They're doing these keep having to vote each other's thing. There's no way at the end of the show that Bang PD and all of the staff members are going to let the bad kids not be in the group. I've said that. There's no way they're not going to let the good kids be in the group at the end of the day.
Are they going to pull a JYP and go, I like this kid?
I cannot see them. Like, let's say I somehow made it into Thailand. I'm not that good, but I'm a good talker, right? And I realized, all right, let's game this up. We know if we do the worst, we're going to get 6 kids down, right? But I would assume over time our scores are going to get better because that's how the show works. So we're going to send down probably 5 or less each time, right? If I just get a voting majority of 7 dudes, we can control the top tier. Because when we have to send people down, if it's a vote and we just get more votes, we'll always be an island, even if we suck.
Yeah, well, the thing is, maybe it depends on the person that's viewing, I guess. But for me personally, I find that this whole idea of a boy group, girl group, and like this camaraderie, I guess, like you feel like they should get along, right? You want that.
There's so much scheming already.
To show this side and to encourage it, because I feel like that's really what the system is doing, encouraging this competition against each other, who are supposed to be teammates eventually. I presume. It feels very contradictory. I hope things get better. I don't know. It just
Bro,
to be honest, if I
it's,
compare,
it's cutthroat out there right now, fam.
From a third person perspective, as a person who hasn't been watching Island,
right.
now I've been convinced to watch. It sounds like an absolute
Bro,
mess that is burning down.
It's like Hunger Games. The good kids live in luxury. The bad kids live in a dorm somewhere. And the good kids get to wear swaggy clothing. The bad kids are like, you're gonna wear this black clothing. Deal with it.
See, I don't know, man. I like at least okay. I do think it's a way for casual people to like get hooked on the show. But I gotta say,
yeah.
it's good TV. Let's just say that it's
good TV. No, don't get me wrong. It's like quality reality TV. But like, where's the group? What about
Yeah,
the
That's what
like-
I'm concerned for.
And the thing is, like, they have this system, and they're gonna keep making them vote each other off and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, for Big Hit as a company, right, and the Belief Lab, whoever's running this, they're gonna pick the best kids at the end. There's like, I can't fathom them like being like, well, the kids didn't want this one good kid because they didn't like him not be in the group, even though he's the most talented kid. There's no way they're gonna allow that to happen.
Maybe there's gonna be a big retaliation at the end, and they're gonna fight against the power. They're gonna fight against Big Hit and Belief Lab and CJ, and they're gonna do their own thing. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but like,
I have no clue.
It's so dramatic sometimes for no reason. I feel.
I also want to put it on the editing, to be honest, because it's
Yeah.
Mnet, right?
Oh my god, they have an actor describing each part, and he says it
Yeah.
in such like an actor dramatic way. He's like, there are
Yeah.
12 guys in Island, but only those who score high enough can remain. Like things like that. He's saying stuff like that. And he gestures with his hand. He's like, they're living in luxury, but can they remain? Like things like that.
They live in luxury.
But I think that's all Lenina and I have been doing in K-pop, right? We've talked about Island enough. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, can I talk about my thing now?
Yeah, talk about your thing.
Well, I have two things to talk about. This week has been a week of endings, for me.
Oh.
Well, Good Girl wrapped up. You know, let's talk about that real quick. It was a fun show. I'm not gonna lie, kind of lost interest near the end. You know, but you know, I will say in relevance to our show, I thought Changyeon was actually very, very impressive in CLC. You know.
Jonghyun? Yeah, there you go.
Hello.
Hello? Warren? Anita, are you here?
Yes.
Alright, something happened to Warren. We
Hello,
can
I'm
see
back?
him. Yeah, you're back. Okay, you were gone for a second.
Okay. I was talking about when did I cut off?
You were saying Jonghyun was good.
Yeah, Changyeon was really good. She was very impressive, and other people were as well. Youngji kind of stood out to me as one of the bright features of Korean hip hop. And I say bright feature of Korean hip hop because today was the end of an era in Korean hip hop. I gotta say. When I talk about the biggest people in the industry, some names that I always mention is Doki, Beanzano, and The Quiet, and Illinois Records. You know, the importers of trap in South Korea. One of the biggest industry leaders since 2011. I actually very much remember back when Illinois Records was still beginning, because I remember The Quiet used to be in a company called Soul Company. This is one of their albums. And The Quiet was leaving, and he was like, "I'm gonna do my own thing now. I'm off to do my venture." And they released the final album. I even have a The Quiet signature here, an autograph.
What?
I know.
That's a good-looking guy.
The Quiet's a good-looking guy. He's a good-looking man.
Yep,
Sexy-looking man.
good-looking guy.
And you know, he went off, teamed up with Doki, Beanzano, and started the whole. They really were pioneers of the entire trap thing. And whether you liked it or disliked it, that has been what the entire decade has been about. And really, besides that, even Illinois Records, they had so much influence on the industry, right? One of the biggest notable things is that AOMG couldn't exist without Illinois Records. They were such good partners in the beginning. Before AOMG was a thing, people were like, Jay Park is going to be the fourth member of Illinois. Jay Park is going to be it. And then eventually he did his own thing, whatever. You know, Ambition Music clearly was only possible because Illinois Records was a thing. And after 10 years, today they wrapped up. They officially disbanded. Doki was not a part of the company for about half a year now, but whatever. I think today's the end, and it's very emotional for me, and it's think of it like think of it if one of your the biggest S tier groups in the K-pop group industry disbanded. That's kind of what it's like. And here today I have 1111, their compilation album from 2014, and it's a good album. You should go check it out.
Are you gonna cry?
I'm not crying. What do you
Okay,
say?
you sound like you got choked up a little.
No, I'm just saying I have a lot of albums from them. That's how much I was a fan. Like this is Doki's Multi-Illionaire. Really good album. And it's album after album, and song after song. They were just, really one of the biggest industry leaders, and some of the biggest people in the entire industry. Just three boys just doing their thing. We out here, three fingers up in the air. Chungha, Illinois Records, 1111, and I'm just kind of rambling on at this point, but
respect to the OGs, fam. Respect.
See, that's what's kind of crazy. I saw them become the most active players to the OGs of the industry, and it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's been quite the journey to see them, rise from nowhere, from the containers, really, to these chain rocking people. I am wearing my IAB T-shirt. That's where Bean Zeno is a part of at the moment. I'm also wearing the only piece of chain I have, to keep with the theme. But if you're into hip hop at all, go check their stuff out. They're really cool people.
Groundbreaking stuff.
Real groundbreakers, real industry leaders, and honestly, the only people with an actually commercial successful pure trap song. Youngirgori, if you guys know what that is, YGGR.
No, Youngirgori.
Yeah, even Doug knows what it is. It's a big thing.
Was that your TED Talk?
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, boys.
Hey, it's Warren. We're running long today. With that insert that we're gonna record tomorrow, this might be over 2 hours again. It is what it is. This week had a lot of releases, had a lot of news. Some good, some bad. But that's the world of K-pop for you. It is what it is. But we are SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. I'm Doug. I like to thank the boy Warren, the girl Anita for joining us today. We got the kid and the robot. What's up? Next week, I don't know if that G Idol song's even getting a music video, to be honest with you. I have no clue. I literally have no clue.
Let's see what happens.
We have the G-Friend song, though. I'm excited for G-Friend. Let's see what they do. Follow up Crossroads. But we'll see you guys then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Treat everyone nicely.
Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Based Mina, Goku Mama, Jack, Jacob, Malfiar, NJ Parks, Snap Wilson, Tier. Thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K-Music Erday, Malfiar, No Bias Luna, Tuggles, V, and Wolf297.